remember guys, some of our rules moving forward for us is that all of our cameras are on. Very important in terms of just being present for the person speaking so that we can all feel each other's energy. Obviously, if you're in the tub, we don't want to see you in the tub if you're like taking a shower, but we don't care what you look like. We don't care if you have, we don't care what's going on behind you. We don't care if kids are running behind you. But just a reminder, for those of you who didn't hear our announcement, I'll make the announcement every week for a couple weeks until everyone really knows it. But very excited. Thank you guys for coming on. Happy belated Mother's Day to everyone. I hope everyone had a beautiful weekend, with their family and their loved ones, and everyone just had a really good restful weekend as well. I'm very excited for tonight's team call. I'll definitely want to send a shout out to our team builders in our team. So Miss Chelsea and Ariel and Carla hitting team builder, which is the first really big step towards elite. So very exciting and definitely inspiring for all of us as we're kind of all pushing towards our goal this year. So very, very excited about that. Guys, a couple announcements. So I will say this week we have a coaching webinar on Wednesday. So we're going to be having a What is Coaching webinar at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday. So if you're interested if you have any prospects, I would definitely encourage you guys to reach out to some people. We will be recording it, but it's really nice to get people there live. Our goal moving forward is to run these webinars very often, and ideally either weekly or every other week, to really build momentum and to give you guys a place where you can have prospects listen to, but also have new and fresh videos that are there to be shared. I also will be hosting another coach opportunity webinar with a dental hygienist this week as well, who asked me. Once I get those final, I think it's going to be on Thursday. We haven't finalized it 100%, hence why I haven't announced it. But that one will be geared more towards healthcare professionals. So if you guys have any healthcare professionals or anyone that nurses or any massage therapists, respiratory therapists, EMTs, like this would be a good call for them, as it's going to be me and then a dental hygienist. And so we're going to be talking about the business from that aspect as well. Obviously, we have our promotions this month, the summer sale. We have all of our challenge packs are $20 off. So make sure that you take advantage of that. Let your customers know, which means our most economical one right now is only $140, which is really awesome. That's their basic, 1 year of access of Beachbody On Demand, along with Shakeology. So definitely keep that in mind. Another announcement I want to share so right now there's been some, and you guys may have already seen this when you're trying to do share cards for people, there are some items that are out of stock right now. And so just be mindful of that. So for me, through the rest of the month, I am going to be mostly promoting the Shakeology challenge packs, just because Recover is out of stock. So that is the main one that I'm going to be, promoting until we get it back in stock. Because if you guys try to go make a share cart and you told someone about Recover and Energize, you're not going to be able to make the share cart, and then you're going to have to go talk to them all over again. And again, so I would just say, just for this month until things, and it has to do more with the suppliers, guys, as we all know, there's all flavors. So all flavors are out of stock for Recover. And so if you have any, I have a couple, so I'm glad I have mine. I love my chocolate Recover, my vegan chocolate. It is the bomb, so it's really good. So just kind of keep that in mind. Just wanted you guys to update on you on that. And then our Energize next week is coming out May 18th. So that's really exciting. Our mixed berry, a lot of us were excited. We, what did Chelsea say? She just said she's just sold, yeah, hoarder problem. She just sold some of her extra Recover to a local coach. Yeah, I do know that there are in some communities I've seen, there've been in some cities, they have some swaps, and they're doing swaps and talking about some of the extra product they have. So yeah, absolutely. That's definitely something. If you have a coach near you who needs some, I think I even reached out to Carla. She has said she was complaining about not having Shakeology. I was like, do you need Shakeology? Because I have boxes of Shakeology. I can absolutely get you some, no problem. But anyway, guys, so I'm very excited. Oh, and then we have all our power hours. Again, they're listed. And so make sure that you guys look in the announcements in our team page. That's what you're going to find the link for our power hours. We're running 2 to 3 power hours during the week. And then we're running one on Saturday, one on Sunday at the very least. So make sure that you make it a goal to at least attend 1 or 2 of them if they're within your time and you're able to. We have been finding that those who are attending are hitting Success Club or getting Success Club points. So again, and it's really good, especially if you're like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. You know, again, we're taking you through exactly the activities that are going to be income producing. So try to get on them. It's not that you're going to be talking. And so they're just great for helping you do the work that you need to do. And then lastly, for anyone who's up at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have our Zoom workout. So just another plug for that, because we do have that in the morning. I will say it goes on until like 10 o'clock, 9:45, 10 o'clock. Some of us are on there just because I don't usually get on at 8:30. I get on like closer to 9. But again, that's there as an option for you guys as well. So with that said, I'm really excited to welcome our guest speaker. Many of you know her already, but since we have so many people, the team has just been exploding, guys, so much momentum and just so much excitement. And so I was like, we need to get Miss Bianca back on because she is just amazing. She's one of my best friends. She is very close to our family. She is a mom of 3. She's a wife. She is a lifetime 3-star diamond. She has been in this business just as long as I have. She also works part-time as a flight attendant. She also is a retired nurse. And so when she started, and I'm sure she'll tell you a little bit of her story so you have a little bit of background for her, so I don't want to take that away from her. But she's going to be talking to us about time management and building this business, because I always say I'm always impressed at how she literally works this business like 1 hour a day. Like she, 1 hour a day of focus, these power hours that we're telling you to get on, she runs these just for herself. And this is how she gets her work done. And she's been doing that for years. And so I think it's I think she's really inspiring, and she's really good at time management. So Miss Bianca.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I feel like, you guys are family. I'm always on your team calls. I stalk you guys on Instagram. I love y'all. Like, I really do. I really feel like I'm a little adopted into your Healthier You family. But so for those of you that don't know me, I'm gonna first of all, I am going to have to share a screen, and I'm gonna have to do a PowerPoint simply because I'm a squirrel. And I'll be all over the place if I don't do this. So let me pull it up. You guys let me know if you can see that. Can you see it? All right, awesome. So I'm going to be talking, like Stephanie said, about some time management tips and strategies. I feel like this is what I'm known for. Everybody asks me, like, how do you get all this stuff done? And so I put some of my best, if I can, if it works. This may not be it. Hold on one second. Let's see if this one does. I have 2 of them up. No. All right, so we might have to go back through here, guys, because I don't know how to get that thing going. So I'll move you guys over here. Can you guys still see that? Can you see that screen?
No, unshare your screen.
Oh, brother. All right, let's try it again.
All right, let's unshare the screen. Unshare the screen.
Because I have it up in 2 different places. So now.
Okay, yes.
All right, so we'll have it that way. It will, as long as it's not distracting for you guys. Mainly it's for me. You don't really need to look at the PowerPoint. It's so I stay on track. So so we're going to be talking time management tips and strategies. And again, Stephanie gave a little introduction, but for those of you that don't know me, my name is Bianca O'Brien. I've been a coach. I feel like I'm a grandma coach because I've been around since 2013. I've been around for a really long time. I am a mom and a wife. I live in Florida with my family. I have 3 girls. They're ages 18, 7, and 5. They're very, very busy, especially that little 5-year-old over there. You can look at her and tell she's a firecracker, and she is. I have a degree in nursing. I don't work with nursing anymore, but I did when I started my business. So that goes a little bit into my story. I'm a flight attendant for Delta. I have been for the past 12 years. I love flying. It's my passion. I don't see myself quitting that job ever. It's what I've always wanted to do since I was a little girl. But I find like it's a really, really awesome like addition to coaching. I feel like the two are very, very flexible. And I love that I get to work my business on my downtime. Like instead of going out with the flight attendants and the crews to get wine and binge on Netflix, I actually do something productive with my layovers, and I, bring in an extra income from it. So I love it. I think they complement each other very well. I'm also a blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, for those of you that know martial arts. My husband's a black belt, and I practice it, and I compete, and I love it. I am very, very big into my faith, and I participate in a lot of activities with my church. I'm very involved. I lead several life groups within our church, and I'm also a 3-star diamond coach. And I tell you guys all this stuff because so you can have like a little bit of a picture of like how crazy my life is. And, that's just true of me. I am somebody that likes to be very busy. And I've always said that about myself. Like, I envy people who can just, lay down on the couch and just, veg out. Like, what is vegging out? Like, I don't get that. Like, I don't know what that is. I can't stand still. And so maybe you identify with that story because maybe you're a busy bee like me. But going back a little bit to when I started this business, so I got started in 2013 I signed up because I had a lot of baby weight to lose. I'd gained 65 pounds in my pregnancy. My daughter was 11 months old when I decided that I really, really had to do something. And I've been watching a friend of mine do these like Beachbody programs. And I knew, like, I was watching her and I kind of knew what they were, but I didn't have the courage to reach out to her and say, help me out. So I did what any best friend would do. I went on Craigslist and I found Insanity. And I went like to a sketchy like Target parking lot and I bought like a box of Insanity DVDs and I brought it home and I was like, that's it. I'm going to lose weight like my friend Kristen is. And so, I was a nurse and you would think that I would have known better, but I didn't really think that nutrition had such a big effect on weight loss. So I was just working out and eating cheeseburgers and pizzas at night. I was just doing things on my own and I really didn't want to reach out to anybody. I didn't want anybody to know if I failed. And so I did Insanity for about a month and I lost a total of like, get this, 4 pounds. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is not working. I don't understand. And so finally, my friend actually called me because I don't know how, but she heard that I was doing Insanity. And she called me and she told me, you're doing the wrong program. You need to be doing T25 with me. And, you need to drink this shake. And I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. I was just so like over trying to do things on my own that I was like, all right, I'll give it a try. So I ordered a challenge pack, a T25 challenge pack with Shakeology. And I am somebody that like, if I spend money on something, I'm going to make sure that I get like all of the use of it. And so I followed the program. I started a program and I read the book, from cover to cover, and I did exactly what I was told to do. So I learned about clean eating and I started like, doing all these substitutions for my foods. And I found that I had more energy and I was feeling good and the weight started to come off. And so, within like the 2 months, T25 is 2 months long. By the end of that program, I'd lost 33 pounds. And it was this like incredible transformation, which I have no pictures of because I didn't think it was going to work. So I never took pictures. But my point is, take pictures. My point is, people around me started seeing my transformation. They started asking me like, what are you doing? And they wanted to know and they wanted to participate in whatever it was. And so I would, send them all to my coach. I would send them to my friend. I wanted nothing to do with coaching. So just to take you guys back to what my life was back then, I was a new nurse working in a hospital, right? I just graduated about, 4 years before, and I was in a new floor and I didn't know what I was doing. I was still like in an apprenticeship program. So I was learning how to be a nurse, right? How to work at the bedside. I was flying full time. I had an 11-month-old baby at home. I was a newlywed. I had a teenager that was going through all the jealousy and all of that. Like I had so much going on. So when this girl came to me and she was like, you should be a coach. I'm like, yeah, no. but I couldn't deny what was happening. I couldn't deny that I was having this transformation. And you know, one thing that is true about me, I do have a good heart and I do love to help people. And so as people started coming to me and I was referring them to my friends and they were asking me for help with the program, I was helping them. And she's like, you know, you could be making this money. Like, I'm making your money because you're like helping them. And I, you know, and I was like, fine, I will sign up. And so I started as a coach, like not having any time. And so I think that's why I'm known for time management now that I have like all of these skills, these time management skills, like I can use them to serve me in the right way because I like to be busy, but busy doesn't mean productive. And so that's what I found back then. Like I said yes to so many things and I was so busy because I liked to be busy. That was in my nature. But that doesn't mean that all of the things that I was doing was leading anywhere. Like I wasn't being productive with my time. And so one thing that I discovered when I started doing this business, I was going through all the motions and I was doing all of the things, but I really wasn't, I didn't see anything happen in my business. Like I didn't see, you know, I'd sign up somebody here and there. And I thought I was doing all the right things because I was, you know, what I thought I was posting on social media. Well, I was on Facebook all day. So obviously I must have been, you know, doing something. But sometimes, like, I don't know if you guys will identify with this, but do you find that sometimes like you spend all day on Facebook or you spend all day, like you have a free day from work and you sit down and you say, you know, I have all this time and I'm going to get all this stuff done. And then you look back at the end of the day and you were like, you were busy all day, right? You didn't stop all day, but then you look back at the end of your day and you feel like you got nothing done. Because basically that's what I was doing, right? That's what I was doing. And I was being very busy, but I was not being productive. And so some things like really popped out at me. And this chart kind of reflects that because I remember having this realization in my business. Like I didn't have goals. I didn't know, like when somebody asked me like, what was my vision? I'm like, what is that? Like, what do you mean? What's a vision? And how do I set goals? And I'm under Melanie Mitchell, like under her team and her downline. And I remember she was like, okay, well, tell me a little bit. Like I had a one-on-one call with her and she's like, okay, tell me what your system looks like. And I'm like, a system? Like, what's a system? Like, I had no idea. But meanwhile, I'd been working this business for like a year or 2 years at that point, and I still wasn't seeing any success. And so I'm like, what is going on? And so I started to like really dig deep into what my activities were. And I had this like really like startling realization that I was spending a whole lot of time on Facebook, but I was not actually working. And so this call is going to be like helping you guys determine like what are the activities that I should be focusing on so that I know for sure that the things that I am doing are income producing activities, that they're actually things that are moving my business forward, and that I'm like, and help you guys make that transition between like playing around with being a coach and actually being a coach and having set business hours and making things happen so that you can actually have a life outside Beachbody. Because it's very easy when we're like passionate about something, which that's what I was, very passionate about what I was doing and very passionate. And I wanted so badly to help people. And I was so excited and I wanted every single mom to have, you know, the same results that I had. So it's very easy for us when we're in that place to like not, you know, to not be able to focus on the right things because we're just so excited to be there. We don't really pay attention to what we're doing. So I want to, these tips are going to hopefully help you guys to become productive rather than busy, right? And so the number one thing is to have clearly defined goals. So that was something that I didn't have back then. I didn't know what I wanted to accomplish. And this goes beyond like, you know, the obvious goals, which is Success Club and Diamond. We know what those, you know, what those goals are, and becoming an Emerald. Yes, that goes beyond that though. Like, what are the goals for your life? Like, what do you want out of life? Not just out of your business, but what are the things? Like that paints a really big like vision. Like if time and money weren't an issue, like what would you be doing with your day? Because I know if you asked me that question back then, I didn't know what it was. But if you ask me that today, I'm actually living it, right? Because I took the time to actually paint that vision. So if you ask me today, like, how would it be different? It wouldn't, because I'm doing exactly what I wanted to be doing. I'm living the life that was able to quit that nursing job because I put in the work to becoming productive to actually getting to where I wanted to get. And meanwhile, like they're not gigantic goals. Like you can look at my, you know, look at my business, and I've been, you know, a coach for 7 years and very modest in terms of ranks. And if you look at that, even income, but they are exactly what I wanted to get out of it. right? And so don't think that for 1 minute that you have to have this $1 million goal. That's not what we're talking about. You have to ask yourself and be honest with yourself. What is it that you want to get out of it? And once you define those goals, then you can go back and reverse engineer those goals to create an action plan for yourself to help you reach those goals, right? Because once you can do that and you have your goals and your action plans, and what do I mean by an action plan? It's just having, the defined activities that you're doing on a daily basis so that you are ensuring that you're going to reach those goals, right? And once you have those goals, that vision for your life with those goals and that action plan, you can sit back and look to see if they are in alignment, right? Because, for example, like last week, I put out for my team, I put out a form that asked them about their goals. And a lot of people have it like, they don't have a real picture of what it looks like. Like anybody can say, oh yeah, I want to make $1,000 per week. Well, if you only have 30 minutes to dedicate to your business, and in those 30 minutes you're playing Facebook, your goals and your action plan is not aligned. You're not doing the activity that's gonna get you to $1,000 a week. So you have to be realistic with those. And you have to make sure that, if like for me, my goal was never to become like a superstar diamond. That was never my goal. It's never been. And so I don't need to put in 10 hours a day on Beachbody. Like I am very proud of the fact, like Stephanie said, she works her business an hour a day. Yep, I do. I make good money for that 1 hour a day that I work, like that was my goal. And I still that's what I want. And so, and there's nothing wrong if you do want to be top coach. There's nothing wrong with that either, but just make sure that what you're doing is in alignment with where you want to get, right? And you have to be realistic with those. And I always tell my team this. I think in this business, if you want to look at success, like when you look at success and the people that are successful, the one thing that they all have in common, like we're all so different, right? You look at the top coaches even, and they're all so incredibly different. But the one thing that they all have in common, they're very consistent. And so I always say to my team, like, it's way better to be consistent and realistic with what you can do than it is to overcommit, right? I would rather tell one of my coaches, I would rather tell them, send 3 invites a day if that's all you can do. Then tell them, send 10 invites a day every day and have them fail every day because they cannot, find the time, they can't send the 10 invites every day. And so they feel like a failure because they're never reaching that goal. Well, become consistent with those 3 invites a day, because I guarantee you, I became a 3-star diamond coach sending in 3 to 5 invites a day. And that's just because I did it every single day, rain or shine. You know what I mean? And it was all I had time for. I was working in 30-minute time pockets. Are there any nurses here? You guys know, when you go into work, you leave the house at 6 o'clock in the morning. You don't come home at until 9 p.m. You're gone for there's no time, and that you can't even pee when you're working. So let alone send invites. So that was what I had, was those 30 minutes. And so be realistic with those. And I love this quote. It's from the Bible. It says, whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much. Once you nail those 3 invites, you will see how it will take you let's say 10 minutes to send 3 invites for about a month. Second month, you're sending it in 5 minutes. You know what I mean? You become so good and so fluent at it that you can increase those 3 invites to 6 invites because you're just so much more efficient with them. So I really think consistency is way better than just overcommitting and saying, making unrealistic expectations for yourself. So I'm going to give you guys some really practical tips of things that I do on my day-to-day basis that I hope will help you once you set those goals and you know what that action plan should look like. So the practical tip number 1, and this is the most I think this is the most crucial step, because I find that when I do this activities with my coaches, they all have a really light bulb moment, a real big light bulb moment. They always say, because people always complain, I don't have time. I want to do this, but I don't have time. So I suggest that you take an inventory of how you're spending your time. You know how when you do, you have a challenger and you're like, well, I'm doing all the right things, but I don't see the weight's not coming off and I don't know what's going on. I always tell them, go back and write down what you wrote, for a full day, and send me a picture of what that looks like. Right. And that always just opens their eyes, because they think that they're eating right, but then they forget about the, goldfish that they had, the leftover mac and cheese, they forget. And those little things add up. the same thing happens for us when we look at our inventory of our time and how we're spending it. Like this is an average, like this little chart, it's old and I kind of like had to dig it out of the, I had to find it for you guys, but it's an old chart and it really represents like what a 40 hour, like what people that work a full-time job, what their week looks like, right? And so let's say you work 8 hours a day, right? Because most people work 9 to 5. You sleep 8 hours a day, which who does that? Like nobody does. Well, let's say you do, right? You sleep 8 hours, you commute an hour a day, like, to and from work. And then you eat, let's say you take half an hour for your meals and it's, an hour and a half a day. And you take about an hour and a half every day, taking a shower and getting ready. That, if you do that every single day, you have a total of 26.4 hours that are unaccounted for during your week, right? So we always like, oh, where does that time go? Nobody knows. Like it's just disappears into, us scrolling Facebook and watching Netflix and whatever it is that we do with our time, which is fine. But I just want you guys to have an idea that if you do want to build a business, you have the time. You just have to allocate it correctly, right? You have to be honest with yourself and take a look at your activities. So the only way for you to do that is to actually write down, like take time, like take one day and get a little piece of notebook, walk around with it all day and write down how, on average, how long does it take you to feed the kids in the morning, right? And if you think your power hour, like, oh, I'm gonna send 10 invites, it's gonna take me about 30 minutes. You may find that it's actually taking you an hour and you're under blocking your time, and now you're rushing through it and you're not being able to get through it because you're giving yourself half an hour to do an activity that takes an hour. But if it takes you an hour to do 10 invites, something's wrong with your system, right? You have to go back and look and learn, like ask the people that are actually doing it, how are you doing it? And I'll give you guys some practical tips of how I do it. My whole power hour takes me an hour and I will give you guys my, how I do it, but like ask the people who are doing it because maybe there is something faulty with your system. Where is it? All right. So practical tip number 2 is create a don't do list. And I think this is so much more important. A lot of people focus on the to-do list. What are the things that I have to do? And I hear when people talk about time management, it's like, oh, you put the top things on the top and you do this and you prioritize. And I love that. And that's all true. But until you take that snapshot of what your day looks like and where you're actually wasting your time, you don't know what should be going on this list. And you won't find time to do the things that you need to do until you stop doing the things that you're not supposed to be doing, right? And so it's a time to be honest with yourself. And you know what, again, revisit that vision. Because if you find that you're like lacking time, like you don't have time to do things, and you find that there's a bunch of activities that you're doing that you really don't need, that are really not serving you or taking you to your vision, then that is the time to be honest with yourself and revisit it and ask yourself, like, what's my why? Why do I want to get to that vision? Because if it is important to you, you're gonna find time for it, right? If it's not important to you, you're not, and that's okay. Just be honest with yourself. Your goals, you don't owe anybody an explanation for them. You don't owe anybody, like nobody's your boss. Your coach is not your boss or your babysitter. Like you're a grown person. You know where your time is going, right? You know what your goals are. So be honest with yourself, don't try to make it like, look better for someone else just because you think that that's the goal that they want you to achieve. That's not going to help you. It's not going to help them in the long run, right? It is better to be honest with yourself and doing the things that you enjoy, the things that you want, the things that are going to take you to your goal, and do them consistently and do them happily, right? Because if when we're doing something that we don't want to do, it just doesn't pay off because we're not successful with it. Practical tip number 3, and I think this is probably the bread and butter of it. And I wonder, like, if you guys see this picture, how many of you know what it means? Like, what do you guys see when you see this? You can put it in the chat box. I want to see if anybody knows what this is. Because this is totally 100% what makes me, yep, time blocking. Yay. All right, good. You guys know what it is. I love it. Okay, so this is my bread and butter. This is how I get things done. This is literally like I give classes on this because I love it so much. And before I lose you, right? Because I know I'm probably already losing people. The sapphires are running out the door. Like, oh, this does not look like fun. The rubies are like, I don't have time for this. Let me tell you, but the emeralds are like, yeah, bring it, right? Okay, so First of all, I'm a Ruby myself. So let me tell you, this does not come natural to me. This is something that when I first saw it, it used to give me like palpitations, right? It used to make me completely nervous. And it's like, I can't do this. This is not going to work for me. You don't understand. My brain is just scattered. Like I don't have time for this. And I'm more of like a doer. And I don't, I don't like to getting organized is not my thing. However, because it is not my thing, it is what I must do. If I don't do this or when I don't do this, my time just goes poof. Like it's kind of like meal planning. I don't love to do it, but I do it and I got good at it because I know that when I don't do it, I get off track. The same thing happens with my business when I don't have this. And so this is time blocking for those of you that don't know. So this is very simple and easy to do on Google Calendar. And there's millions of other ways that you could do this. This is not the only way. But I've developed a system that works really, really well for me. So I'll show you guys. Do you see this? Do you see my Google Calendar? Okay, so when I switch it over, so this is something that will probably take you guys between an hour to 2 hours to set up, right? Once you do that inventory of your time and you know exactly where your time is going, you can start to put in the time blocks. And now I have this beautifully color coded. The green are Beachbody activities, so work activities. The red is for my faith. The yellow is for myself. So any activity that is for me is in yellow. The blue is for my family. So when you look at this, it is really like for me, it was so needed because like I said, I love my business. And if I have an entire day to dedicate to it, I will. But that is not my goal. And and that's like that having that action plan not aligned with the goals, that's where that comes in. And if I'm spending too time on Beachbody, I feel like I'm neglecting my family. I'm out of alignment and I'm not happy. So doing this and color coding it really helps my brain visually see that I'm spending time where I need to be spending time because it is color coded. So I know the colors are balanced out, makes my brain happy. I'm like, yay, now I know that, my week and the way my time is allotted is like, it's good, right? This makes me happy. And so I suggest that you guys do something similar. It doesn't have to look like this. I used to use a paper planner and I found that the Google Calendar is a little bit easier because I can print it out and then I can scratch it and I don't have to repeat all the activities all the time. So I do it on Google Calendar. And once you add in an event, you can repeat it so that it shows like for us, however long you want it to show. Now, when you first do this, it can be a little challenging, again, because you don't know how much time each activity is going to take. So it may take some adjusting. But, once you start doing it, two things that I will advise you against doing is like we kind of like, sometimes we feel a little like if we see a lot going on, we get a little overwhelmed. Like, oh my gosh, I don't have any time. Like, because there's so much in my schedule and you feel overwhelmed. Don't leave any time off in between. Like, go ahead and fill out all the spaces. Even if you don't get to the end of your day, if you prioritize it correctly, which I kind of have my prioritized correctly, and you will be able to do this once you start doing it as well. If you prioritize it correctly, by the end of the day, if you don't get to the last things, it's okay. At least you know that you spent your time on the most important things. So I really recommend that you guys try this out. If you have questions about how to do this specifically, it's very easy when you go there. It's already on a time block. So you just click on it and it will ask you what event to add. You put it in, you give it the allotted time, you color code it down here, like you just change it, you can, modify it, you can do all kinds of things in here. I really, really love this stuff. It really works really, really well. So that's really recommend it. I learned this from Kim Carver. He was the one that taught us this. He did a whole training on it. I don't know if it still exists, but this is where I learned it from, and I've been using it for like 3 to 4 years. And I never go a week without it. Really take like an hour on my weekend, like on Sundays, I sit down and I look ahead. And then I also have a big like monthly calendar where I put all of the things that I need to do ahead of time. So right when I print my Google Calendar for the week that already has my pre-plotted activities, I look at my monthly calendar and I see like, what else do I have going on? Oh, the kids have a dentist appointment at 3. Okay, so I might shift this and move this here and then, write that down. And so I scratch it all over, like I just scribble on it. but I make adjustments. But I always, wherever I go, I have that thing with me. If I'm traveling, I take it with me. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I always have it with me. So it really helps my brain, keep my brain organized. So from there, once you decide, like from that, when you do that time blocking, you're going to see how much time you have to allocate to your business. That's where you're going to be able to do this. So this is it's my own business activity tracker. So if you do the business activity tracker, same thing. Mine just looks a little different because I do different things. And I just wanted to include the things that I do myself that wasn't on here. So basically everything that's on here is on here, but this has some added stuff that I, added for myself. And so you guys are seeing it. I laminated it so I don't have to keep printing it. And I just cross it off every day. I like wipe it down and I cross it off. But basically that's what it looks like. And you guys saw that on my Google Calendar. So in the morning, after I do my workout, I do a little morning pocket, right? And I do all of the posting and all of the personal development, all that stuff in the morning. So that's a little time block. Like I don't have time to do it. Like I can't wait till afternoon. So my life looks a little bit different now. I don't know about you guys, but I have to homeschool my kids. So I had to do a lot of shifting. So this is what it looks like now. So because I homeschool my kids, I found that I was doing, because I was, reserving my afternoon for my business. I wasn't doing my morning post until like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That was not working. So I was like, okay, I'm going to have to fix that. So I started getting up a little earlier. That's what I did. I started getting up at 5:30 instead of 6:30. And I'm like, okay, so I'm going to put in an hour of my day before, I get started with the kids on homeschooling. And that's how I get my morning pocket done. Then my afternoon pocket looks a little different. And if you look at it, basically it's the business activity tracker prioritized so that I'm always getting my invites in, right? Because I don't know about how many of you do this, but I love to procrastinate and I don't love sending invites. I'm all about attraction marketing and having people come to me, but that doesn't really move our business forward, right? We still have to send invites. So what I found myself doing is I would spend all this time like making this beautiful post so that people could come to me, and then I wouldn't have time left at the end of the day for my invites because I procrastinated it all day. So I switched it. Now I do my invites first, right? So that I don't have an excuse, oh, now I don't have time to do my invites. And every day I reserve a little bit of an extra time because I do have a team and I do need things. So I do, plan team calls, and I do, extra things, at one-on-one calls or whatever it is. That's my allotted time for that. Now, as you guys start growing on your business, this is, I think, the biggest tip I can give you for anybody that has been around a little bit longer. I fell into the trap of like, oh, now I have a team and I have to serve them. And I stopped doing my own activities and I put them first, which I think a lot of us who are people pleasers, who just love on people, who want to help, like we will do that, right? We'll put ourselves last. I do that in life with a lot of things. And I did it with my business. And I really shot myself in the foot with that, right? Because the people that got me to 3-star, they're not even here anymore, right? They're not even in this business. And here I am. And I stopped recruiting. I stopped doing the things that I was doing to get me to 3-star. And my business suffered. So biggest tip I can give you guys, as you move forward with your business, always spend more time on your own business than you do with your team. And it's great to love on them and reserve time to teach them and to show them what you're doing, but never stop working your business. Never put your business last. Your business comes first, right? Because if you're not doing the things and you're not showing them how to be done, how it needs to be done, then it doesn't matter what you're advising them, because what you're saying, your actions are not aligned with what you're saying, right? So practical tip number 5, and we're getting done here. Get focus time. And this may involve you like sitting down with your family and asking them for help, right? And being very clear and transparent with them with what your goals are and why they're important to you. I think it's so important for them to understand why it matters so much to you. Why are you spending so much time doing this? I have kids and they're little, when I'm home and I'm not working, it's hard for them to understand that like mommy is working and mommy's, why is mommy not giving me attention? And why is mommy always on her phone? And I never wanted to be that mom. I really didn't. And so I had to sit down with my family and explain that to them. And that picture went up not too long ago, because like I said, things have shifted in our house, and where they were at school all day, now they're not, they're home. Right. And so my office, I don't actually have an office. I have a loft and it doesn't have a door. So what I found was happening was I was sitting there working in my little afternoon pocket, and it was like they were coming to me to ask me for goldfish, and for, you know, all of the time just coming in and out. My husband was coming in to ask me, did I see his shoes? And I'm like, no, this is not working. Like, I need focused time. I need to be able to sit and work. Like, if I'm doing this in 2 hours, like if I'm sitting down, I'm like really sending my invites, and it's gonna be, you know, that short time that I have for my business, then I really need to be able to be focused. Like, whenever you stop, you may not think so, but it like distracts you. And then it takes like 5 minutes for your brain to get back to what you're doing. So I moved my computer and my dad and a table from downstairs inside my bedroom, and I closed the door. And that's what I put on my door. I said, Mom is working. If it's not important and you're not dying, go ask Dad, right? Leave me alone. But on the opposite side of that, right, I put that up there, but it wasn't just that. Then I sat and then I told them, like, this is the time that you guys cannot come in unless something is very important. But when I'm out of here, I'm game. Like, whatever you need, I'm here for you. Even if you see me with my phone in my hands, you can stop me, and you are my priority. So I made that very specific, like, distinction for them, so they understand that there is a time when mommy's working, but mommy's not always working, right? And I stick to that. I really stick to that. I remember in the beginning of my business, Shane used to complain that I was on my phone a lot, and I actually got like a little black box with a key, and I would put my phone in there at nighttime, 7 p.m. I would lock my phone up, and I would not get it back until morning, because I wanted him to feel, I didn't want him to resent my business. I didn't want him to think that I was just, you know, devoting all of my time to my business and not him. And that took discipline on my part, because it is hard, especially for those of us that are like short order cooks. Like, we think that we have to respond to people right away, right? They send a message and we're like, oh my God, if I don't respond now, they're gonna go find another coach. If they go find another coach, then so be it. You don't want to be that coach that is always on demand for people. No, you have a life, and you want to portray that to your coaches as well, because you want them to have a life. That is my, you know, my take on that. And don't hide it from your kids either. Don't wait until, you know, oh, I hear sometimes people say like, oh, I only do it when they're doing distracted doing something else. Like, I'll only work out if my kids are sleeping, or like, I hear people say that. And that's why, you know, like, you want to show them that you are committed, that you're disciplined, that you're working a business, that you know, you want them to see what you're doing. And I have an 18-year-old that I never thought I would be able to say this. She signed up as a coach. She turned 18, and within a month she was a coach. And I never thought I'd see this. And this is the kid that's like passing up on pizza to eat grilled chicken. She's doing the bikini competition plan right now. And you guys have no idea. This is the kid that turned her nose up on this business and everything, healthy eating. And like, you have no idea how many fights we had over restaurants because she was ordering the chicken Alfredo with bacon on top. Like, you don't understand. Like, you think that they're not paying attention and that they don't care. But you know what? It was 5 years, 6 years that she watched me do this. And she saw me be product of the product. She saw me, you know, she saw what I was saying. I was preaching. I was saying what I was doing, what I was preaching. I was walking the walk, right? And not just talking the talk. And so she learned this. And now, you know, that's one of my biggest takeaways. Like, I don't care what Beachbody gives me. It helped me teach my daughter to be healthy. Like, at the end of the day, that matters more to me than any rank, accolade, income, anything. Like, my daughter is going to be a healthier person because of what I did and what she saw me do. And that matters to me. So make sure that, you know, involve your family, let them know what you're doing, you know, let them know why it's important to you. And they will be more likely to help you and, you know, be more respectful of your work if you do it that way. Practical tips number 6. Don't try to multitask. It's a myth. You know, I'm sure you guys have heard this before, but I had to throw it up there. We think we're multitasking. We're just, you know, scattering our brain even more. We're not really focused. We're not really getting anything done. Text replacement is a very practical thing that I use a lot for all of my invites, follow-ups, you know, short text. So do you guys know what text replacement is? Does everybody know?
They may not.
No. All right. Let me show it, because this is like life-changing. You have to talk about text replacement. Okay. So if you have an iPhone and you go on your phone, if you take it out, I will walk you through it. Settings, general, keyboard.
Do you have this on Android?
And then you put text replacement, and you literally get like you can you see that? I doubt you're going to be able to see that. I should have been. So anyways, when you do that, you're going to see a little plus sign up top on the right, the top right corner. If you click on that, you can copy and paste your invite in there, or your follow-up, or whatever it is that you use the most. I have one for literally everything. So I have challenge group explanation, like what is a challenge group? Challenge group, like invites, coach invites, invite off the stories, invite off the transformation posts. Like I have one for everything. And so literally when I tell you that it should take you 10 minutes to send 10 invites, it really should, because like you have it all on your phone. It literally is you're gonna type 2 letters and it's gonna pop right up. And if anybody needs help with this, I'll do a little video, like I'll do a little screenshot video and I can send it to you guys so you can share it with the team. Because this is life-changing. Like you really need text replacement. Now I know there's a way to do it with Android. I don't know how it is. I have an iPhone, but I know there's a way to do the same thing with an Android. So look up text replacement. It will change your life. It will be like, it will make your power hours so much faster. Another thing that I have on my computer, these are Google Chrome extensions. Kill the newsfeed, so it takes away your Facebook newsfeed so you can't see it. So you're not distracted by it. When I sit down for my power hour, kill the newsfeed. Don't even look at what's happening on Facebook, right? I don't even go on Facebook because then Amazon pops up and I'm like shopping for shoes and, you know, I'm telling you, I'm scatterbrained. I'm like a squirrel. So I have to, you know, I can't have it. I just have to eliminate all the distractions. Audible for PD. Did you know that you can fast forward it so you can hear it a little faster? Okay, so that's something that I also do. It depends on the person. John Maxwell, you can go up to like 1.5 because he's a very slow talker. Brandon Burchard, like not so much, but like you will see like there's some that you can like fast forward and you will listen to it like much faster. Pre-write content and take pictures on the weekends. I think Stephanie, you were the one that taught me this. Just, you know, kind of planning ahead. This is big into Melanie Mitchell too. She does like a marketing plan for her whole month. She knows when her challenge groups and coaching opportunity events are going to happen. So she plans out every single post. She has it on a calendar. She takes all of her pictures and then she pre-writes the captions and then she has it ready to go in the morning. I think it's magical. It's kind of like meal planning and meal prepping for your business. So take a few hours on the weekend. I will be honest with you guys. I don't do this every week, but when I do it, I'm so grateful for it. And I really need to make more time to do it. Meal plan, meal prepping, same thing, you know, especially for us, like we're so like focused on our fitness journey. Like we need those meals ready made. Otherwise you're in the kitchen the whole time, right? I'm doing time nutrition right now. Dude, that's like a part-time job. Eating, you feel like you're eating all day long. And so it's a lot of meals. I'm just saying meal plan, meal prepping is big too. And the video speed controller for video. So I'm almost never watch videos or training videos or past team calls on the time that they happen, except for team calls, because that's for community building. But like National Wake Up Call, I go back and I listen and I fast forward it. You know, I have the video speed controller is a Google Chrome extension that you can add to your Google Chrome, and it lets you speed up the video. So you see the video in like time and a half. So it like National Wake Up Call, you bang it out in 20 minutes because it's only like you fast forward the announcements and you're like, you know, you're watching it in 20 minutes. So those are just some hacks that you guys can use. And then, you know, practical tip number 7, reassess and readjust. Your business is going to look different. You know, if you're just you or 2 coaches, you know, it's going to look different than if you have a whole team. And that's just how it goes. And, you know, if your kids are home from school, you're going to have to reassess and readjust. And it's ongoing. You know, always look, is what I'm doing working? Am I being productive? I'll tell you guys, with the things that I've done, I've been in Success Club 63 months in a row. You know, like this stuff works. It's not, I don't overcommit. I don't send a bazillion million invites. I just shared with you guys, I send 10 invites a day. I work about an hour on my power hour. The other hour is on my business, like my challenge groups and my clients. And basically that is what I've done for the past six years. And I've seen, I mean, I'm pretty happy with the success that I've had with the company. So, you know, you have to really be honest with what your goals are and what you're willing to commit. I really don't want Beachbody to ever become my life. Like I joined it so it could give me life, so it could give me time freedom. I don't want to spend 20 hours a day on a computer or on the phone. And that's okay if you do, but just be honest with yourself. You know, and I'll close out the call with just a picture of my grandma. So I apologize if I cry because she just passed away a couple days ago. And it was just a reminder, you know, of how, you know, our life is just a vapor. We're here 1 minute and then we're not, right? And what we do with our time really matters. We want to look back and be proud of the things that we've accomplished, but also like of the relationships that we've built, the memories that we've created, the time that we spent with family and the impact that we've had on them. That's most important, right? So remember that time is your greatest resource, right? You're a minute you're here, or a minute you're not. And unless you tell it where to go, it will tell you where to go, and it will rule your life. So you really need to, I know it sounds like a lot and you're like, I don't have time to do all this. Guys, you don't have time not to do it. Like, you really have to focus on it and put some thought into it, because when we're intentional about how we spend our time, it can really make a difference. Use your time wisely. So that's what I got. Cheer. You guys have questions? I'm sorry, I cannot look at the chat and talk because then I get distracted. So I don't know what you guys, thank you. Were there any questions? I don't know if there was anything, Stephanie. I should have asked you to keep an eye on the chat box.
I don't think there was any questions. I think people were saying they love your message, and time blocking is awesome. One question I have is, someone just said, can you explain your unfollow time?
Yeah, I take 5 minutes to unfollow people. I didn't build my Instagram correctly, and I bought likes, and my Instagram engagement sucks. And so I've been spending a lot of time just trying to get those bots and fake accounts off of my Instagram as soon as possible. I think that's like my biggest priority right now. Just cleaning up my Instagram and letting, so that's what I do when I unfollow.
Can you speak a little bit to like when, like if we have some new moms, when it's hard sometimes to do the time blocking when you have some, an infant. When you had your 11-month-old and you were just starting, or even a year-old, like how did you juggle a little bit of, I guess I would assume is, talking with Shane and stuff, but how did you handle it then?
Yeah. So the system is the same pretty much. It just looked different because when you have a little one at home, you kind of work on their time. But I had my time blocks. They just look different because I couldn't say like, okay, at 3 p.m. I'm going to do this. It was like, okay, at nap time, I'm going to do this. Right. And then I knew like when Shane comes home, I'm going to do this. Like I knew when I was going to have those little breaks, and that's what I committed to. And then, also giving yourself a lot of grace, knowing that that time is going to pass. And you're not, it just, when you're there, it feels like, oh my God, this is never going to pass. But they grow up really fast. So you do what you can do, and you give yourself a whole lot of grace on the things that you cannot. But you find those little times where you do, you can expect to have some time to yourself and do it then. And again, it takes talking it over with your husband and talking it over with your family and asking for help where you need it. You may have to ask for an hour a day. I know I have a coach that has a little baby at home, and she's been working her business like that. And she sat down with her husband. She said, you know what, I need your help. And it worked. And she's doing really well. She's actually about to quit her job this week. So it's, it works. You make time for what's important to you.
Like when you were meal prepping with no kitchen?
Yeah. I'm a no excuses type girl. I really am. You tell me I need to get something done and I will find a way. I hate excuses. I hate them. I can't, I know it's a powerful word, but I don't have time for them. Like, I like being productive. I like doing things. And I know if I want to be productive and I want to get things done, and I have to do, there's no complaining, be realistic. Like you don't have to, I think excuses are like a form of people pleasing. And I think that's why they trigger me, like you don't have to give an excuse. Like if you can't, you can't. That's just how it is. You don't have to create an excuse for that. But when you want something, don't complain about it. Like get it done. Don't waste your time giving an excuse. Like who are you explaining yourself to, right?
Yeah, she was, for those who don't follow Bianca, she just had a beautiful remodel of her kitchen that took longer than she would have liked, I'm sure. But she was sending me pictures of like, she found this electronic thing that like hard boils eggs. I was like, oh my goodness. She's like, it's like a little electronic thing, and like you put the egg in it and like steams it. I don't know what I was just like, wow. And she had, using her like kitchen sink to wash her dishes, but she was meal prepping, and she was just, really, staying committed to her program. And so I thought that was awesome, just speaking to that. And everyone's saying, oh yeah, Stephanie said it's gorgeous. Blair.
Thank you. I love it. I want to sleep in there. That was a year. I was without a kitchen for a whole year.
Yeah.
A number of things played into that, but a whole year washing my dishes in my bathroom sink. It was this, like, you guys don't want to experience that ever. I'm surprised I'm still married.
And I think, Hannah saying needed that. I have had constant coach guilt for only being where I am in my business. But the reality is I have 4 kids home 24/7 and my goals are my goals. And I'm grateful for what I already have as a coach.
It took me a while to let go of the comparison, because I remember, all of the people that I have been, like, I started with, and and it's things a little bit every time I hear on a national wake up call, oh, she's an elite coach, 10 stars. She started last year. And I'm like, what the heck am I doing wrong? But then I realized that, you know what, I did a lot of things right. I did a lot of things right. And it wasn't anything that I did wrong. It was just my priorities were not there. I know what the people, like, I know what it takes to be a top coach, and I didn't want that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think, and I think that's what's beautiful about your message, Bianca, that I think everyone just reiterating is that the beauty of this business is that you get to really think about what are your priorities and what is it that, like Bianca said, like if you had your dream life, how would that look like? And it's going to be different for every single one of us. And, she has built her business very consistently. And now she has that dream life that looks very different than maybe someone else may think of as a dream life. But again, it's where her priorities were. And, just setting, so so I think the power of vision, everything that she has set her mind to, she has accomplished. I mean, I've known her for several years now. And every single time if she made a goal of, a certain rank or a certain, like, she hit it, or wanting to go to a trip, like she just went to Israel with her husband, like, whatever it is, if it was truly on her vision and it was a priority to her, she made it happen. And I think that speaks to the power of just vision setting and really making sure that you're creating goals in your life that get you excited and that really align with you and align with what's going to make you happy and what's going to mean freedom for you. Because it's going to be, that freedom is different for every person. But don't not make goals and don't, create that priority list and don't create that vision, because then, like she's saying, your time is just going to go poof and your time is going to go all over the place and it's not going to be productive. So I think that's really awesome.
Yeah.
Really awesome.
And it doesn't equate to not having ambition either, and not wanting growth and not wanting more for your life. That's not what that is about. It's like, for me, it's always been, it has been a really big thing about, like, just spending time, being able to spend quality time with people. And, that's really what I wanted, cultivate friendships and have a community and, be able to give time to my church and devote to my faith. I spend an hour and a half with God every day. Like, who says that? Like, who does that? Not a lot of people, but it was a priority for me. And it was so important to me. And now, because I don't have to work 2 jobs, I can do it. You know what I mean? So that makes me happy. That fills my cup. It is what I wanted. So you have to ask yourself, like, what does it look like for you?
Yeah, absolutely. Anyone else have any questions? Any last minute questions? Well, thank you, Bianca, for coming on. Thank you so very much. That was a great presentation. And so
thank you. Thank you for having me. You guys are awesome. I love y'all.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll see you next Sunday. Next Sunday, we have someone who's going to, I forget her topic again. I keep forgetting. I think Chelsea knows the topic. Chelsea knows the topic. Yeah. Chelsea's guest speaker, so I forget. I didn't set it up, so I forget. What is she talking about again next week, Chelsea?
She's talking about a variety of things. She made it to the top 50 of our region with only being like a diamond coach. So she's really good at recruiting and Success Club and volume. And so she's going to talk about all that. She also has 3 kids. She has a teenager and 2 little ones. So she's going to talk about how she manages all that stuff on top of it.
Awesome. That next week, next Sunday at 7 p.m., guys. Awesome. All right, guys. Thank you so very much, and have an amazing, amazing day. Bye.
Bye, guys.